Tony, just let us know when you're ready.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I won't have it right this second, but maybe after.
Go down there. Brilliant, man.
We share some of our candy.
Oh, I'm good. I'll just have a minute. Thank you.
Tony, are you ready? Ready. Okay. Next up is Office of the Mayor, and if I could remind the speakers to make sure you hold the mic up to your mouth. No, other way. Thank you. Please
I'm Mike
introduce
Disco. I'm
yourself.
Chief of Staff for the Mayor, and mine is going to be the quickest that anybody's ever seen. Boards and commissions, the Muni Band, we're going to increase a little bit less than $1,000. And the Senior Citizens Commission, $15,000 for replacement. They're going to handle the other part of it. It's a $45,000 to $50,000 build that they're going to do on the floor. And that is all I have.
He's a man of little words.
Who's next?
Well, now we're gonna get it.
The attorney stood up. I tell you what, I don't know what to expect now.
Well, I want to thank the City Council for their time tonight to listen to me present the budget for the Office of Corporation Counsel, and I want to thank the Mayor for her support in the budget that you're being presented. For fiscal year 2024, my office had $1.97 million budgeted. As of today's date, we have approximately $593,000 remaining in our budget. Our fiscal year 2025 ask is for $1.91 million, which is a 3% reduction in our budget. A general overview of the structure of the Office of Corporation Counsel, we're broken into 3 divisions. We have our General Practice Division, which currently has 6 employees and 1 vacancy. We have our Code Enforcement, which has 6 employees and 1 vacancy. And we have our Business Licensing Division, which has 2 employees. Over the last calendar year, we've had 7 employees, either new or changed positions. We have 4 new hires, which includes 3 new attorneys and 1 new paralegal. And we have 3 internal changing in positions, which was 1 attorney moved from code to general practice. We had a paralegal move from paralegal 1 to paralegal 2, and then our paralegal 2 moved to our operations coordinator position. So 2023 was a time of transition in our office. We have a lot of individuals learning new roles and getting comfortable in those roles as we go into calendar year 24 and fiscal year 2025. Some of our accomplishments over this past calendar year, we prepared and reviewed 653 ordinances, 42 zoning ordinances. We're involved with negotiations for 8 different union contracts, and we successfully finally completed the PBPA police contract and got that signed after years of negotiation. We currently have 34 outstanding state and federal court cases that are undergoing active litigation. We have 81 risk management cases, which are claims against the city for damage, which go through our insurance process. And we have 117 open workers' compensation cases that are handled by our department. For code enforcement, we filed 725 cases. We completed 44 demolition cases. The city demolished 10 structures, 19 structures were demolished by their owner, and 15 structures were repaired, so demolition was not needed. We currently have 127 pending demolition cases. 78 of those are done with legal. We have orders for demolition. We're just waiting on getting those contracted for and getting those torn down. We have 12 agreed orders to repair, which means the demolition process is stopped because the owner has said that they will repair the structure, and as long as they follow the timeline in that agreed order, we won't demo the property, and it will be able to be salvaged. And then we have 37 cases pending in circuit court right now where we're seeking an order but do not have it yet. We filed 263 MR cases. Those are enforcement actions in circuit court. We filed 289 small claims cases. Those are us seeking to recoup funds in circuit court. Our Code Enforcement Department collected approximately $362,000 in fees and fines over the past calendar year. Our business licensing department handles our liquor fees, gaming fees, and then taxi and transportation fees. And so you can see the totals that they've brought in, that those licenses and fees, and this includes late fees and the like, the amount brought in through that department. So a summary: all three of the divisions of our department brought in approximately $1.7 million, which includes all fees, fines, violations, and this total traditionally also includes vehicle use tax that's been paid that comes through. So that's the total amount recovered. The calendar year 2024, fiscal year 2025 initiatives that I'm laying out. First, before I ask you for money, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do to collect more money. So one of the items that we've been working with the Treasurer's Office to do, and we recently implemented, and we're going to continue more, is to utilize the state of Illinois' iDrop for collections. iDrop is a program where if we have a verified debt to the city, we can upload the information to the state, and they can garnish either wages of state employees or garnish tax refunds from individuals who owe us debt. The Treasurer's Office has been using this for several years. The Office of Corporation Counsel has not. So they've been using it with success. I used it in Bloomington with success. So we've gotten that up and running, and we're loading our past debt up, and we're going to load new judgments as they come in. So we've already uploaded approximately $200,000 worth of debt that my office is unable to collect, that we're hoping to get some of that, at least a percentage of that back from the state. And we expect to increase the amount of debt that's uploaded in the next fiscal year. On to continuing legal education is an increase in our budget. It's a modest increase of $1,500 for actual continuing legal education fees, and then $2,000 for travel. This is just to make sure that if I have a fully filled staff, that they're able to get the continuing education that they need and attend the conferences if they so choose. Right now, we couldn't send everybody to one of the main municipal conferences, which is held in Chicago every year, or one of the main employment law conferences that's held up north, usually in Chicago, every year. We did not have the proper amount budgeted. That amount is covered by a decrease in request for office supplies and office furniture, so we do have that expenditure covered. The main initiative that I'm asking the council to review and approve for this year is a bonus pool or a merit pool for the 14 employees in my office. The merit pool will be structured in two different 2.5% bonuses two different categories. One office-wide, which would go to all employees in the same amount, and then one based on individuals' independent performance reviews. If you're looking for the budgeted amount, it's $35,000 total, and I think that this serves to threefold, really. One, it helps unite us as an office. Right now, those three divisions, they work separately and apart. I think if we all have an equal bonus for if the office as a whole meets its goals, then there's a cross interest between general practice, licensing, and code enforcement. So I think that would help. I also think that our salaries are low, and I think part of the turnover that this council has heard before, and that I'm going to say again, is with the low salaries, we lose people to the state. You can get a job at the state at an entry level that pays $15,000 more than we pay. I think that this closes the gap a little bit without increasing year over year costs. And then three, I think that it gives it an incentive to the individual employees to, work, to start a performance review plan so people know what the goals are and to work to achieve those goals. So that is an ask. Again, it's an increase and it's an initiative that I want, but it won't impact the overall ask of the budget because, again, the ask this year is 3% less than it was for fiscal year 2024. And finally, the goal for this office for calendar year 2024 is to improve the communication, again, as discussed, between the three divisions, make sure we're all operating as an office as a whole, and then improve cross-training so we're not as siloed in individual specialties. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you. Greg, and it's been great working with you since you've come on board, and I look forward to the next 3 years. One of the biggest, I guess, complaints I've had is in the past, we could not get a report on how much debt we have out there from people that owe us money. I know when the mayor was the treasurer that I used to ask her, she said I could only give you what I have because the corporation counsel's office doesn't use the same system or whatever. What I would like to see, and I'm not trying to be mayor, I certainly don't want that, but I think that we definitely got to get everybody on the same system so that if we, quarterly, we should know how much debt's out there. I like the fact that we're using iDrop. We also do have a ordinance that requires that debt that hasn't been paid within a certain amount of time has to go to collections, and they pay the fees. We don't pay the fees, so we need to utilize that. But, I mean, that's just one thing I don't care what system it is, but whatever system that everybody decides, we have to get all the debt in one system. So I don't know what it's going to take, but that's something I believe that needs to happen.
I do know I've been in the process of evaluating the software that we use in the legal department, and I'm well aware that it's different than some other city departments. And I've been in our ISD meetings where we're looking at moving to a new vendor. So I agree with you. I think that I was shocked at the lack of communication between my office and the treasurer's office, and I think that we're improving that, and we're going to try to build in those efficiencies so we are able to get you an amount. So we have the same numbers as to what debt is owed and who owes it.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, and this, you would have to talk to the mayor more than anyone. She would know, and talk to the treasurer as well. But I think that we need to be able to we just got to be able to communicate with everyone, and we got to be able to. There's no reason, and the treasurer should get all the money collected. It should not. I know last administration, I believe that when money was owed to you guys, I don't know if it went through the treasurer or there was some convoluted ways of doing things. And if we have to put an ordinance together to do it, we should, any collection should be at the treasurer's office, or I think at CWLP has their rules too. But I will say that that's something I would hope that you work on. But with the communication, we got to be able to get somewhere we can push a button and we know exactly what we have.
Do you mind if I speak to that? I mean,
Go ahead.
Clearly, this administration wants to work very well with the treasurer's office and put everything together and collect all at one time instead of having two separate collection agencies, which is how it was. So.
Thank you.
Is that it, Alderman?
That's it.
Alderman Redpath.
Greg, I gotta say, that's probably the best report I've heard from the Corporation Counsel's office in a long time. I mean, the former Corporation Counsel hit the way he did his business, but you really laid this thing out for us to understand what's going on. We had no idea on some of the complaints and the way things were filed, just to get that communication. Yeah, I dropped the system. I remember when Mayor Bush was Treasurer Bush, we talked on a regular basis about there was no communication between Corporation Counsel and her office, and now I know that you and the new treasurers working together, so that's good. That's great for the city. Beyond that, I just wanted to ask you some questions. I wanted to know, have you had a chance to review the contract that we have with the Wyndham? There was some confusion that we really didn't get information about as far as the parking ramp versus what the ownership sponsorship and all that other kind of stuff. Have you had a chance to review that?
So, yeah, I've taken a look at it, and I know that that's an ongoing issue and that there are several issues with the parking ramp itself, yes. In general terms, yes.
Okay, so maybe I shouldn't ask you this now. Maybe I'll call you.
I'd love a phone call on that issue.
But you're doing a great job. Your mom and dad's proud of you because they tell me every time they see you. Good work,
Well,
thank you.
well, good.
Anything else, Alderman Redpath? Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to echo and definitely commend you because I haven't seen something like this in my 3 years where it breaks down every category for us to understand. And I think also too, having the team of me, Alderman Gregory, and Alderwoman Conley to help you out too with bringing things of concerns forward. This will help us too to be able to review that. And then my second thing is I'm a true testament to what Alderman Hanauer is talking about, because before I got here, there was a fine that was provided to me that our mayor, when she was treasurer, didn't even have a clue about, and that system just wasn't working, and I still had to go and pay it to her, even though it was coming from your office. So I was wondering, that new system, the vendor that you're talking about, will it be a tracking system where we can see everything?
Well, that's probably a better question for ISD on how it'll all look. But I do think that one of the items that I want to work on, as Alderman Hanauer said, and as I bullet pointed, is improved communication, because I know I had some meetings with the treasurer, and I was surprised at the lack of us working together. You know, I can go out and get a piece of paper that says you owe me $1,000, and it's got to go to her. So she and I should be working together quite a bit, and that's what I believe, and there should be no confusion between our offices. And so that's what I'm working to do. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, because again, I feel like we're pretty siloed, and I want to get past that, and that is a goal of mine.
No, I definitely understand your frustration. Ralph just beat me to it, but I wanted to definitely bring it up because I went through it personally, and if it wasn't for Misty calling up there back and forth to get me the amount that I needed to pay, give me some paperwork, because there was no paperwork at all. And so it just shows you that it's some silos going on, and just making sure that we get that communication together. And that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderwoman Netriano.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your presentation. It's been illuminating. I was looking through our revenues and noticed a bit of a difference between revenue from licensing liquor licenses and video gaming terminal licenses. And I see you have them sort of like at the same level. So I was wondering, do you have the fund number, or?
No, I can get the underlying I can get the underlying numbers for you from our business licensing department. I just asked them for the totals for this presentation. But yeah, I'm happy to get you any information you need that leads to that final number. So I'll be sure to get that to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And then I was wondering if I imagine that you've looked
Use
at
your
our.
microphone.
Oh, sorry. Didn't even notice. So I imagine that you have, looked over our liquor licensing fees and our video gaming fees for operators and terminals and things like that. I had looked in the code, and I was just curious, in your professional opinion, do you think that we are charging the right amount for our video gaming fees, licensing fees?
Well, that depends honestly on the will of the council. I mean, if the council wanted to see no more video gaming, then you could set a terminal fee at $100,000, and then you wouldn't have those again, right?
No, they give us a lot of revenue.
So the fees the fees represent the balance that the council has to do, and I've seen it go, and I've seen the discussion go very differently. I said that 100,000 tongue-in-cheek, but I know that that there was a community that I was representing, and this was in public, where they were talking about the gaming parlors and what to do about those. And one of the suggestions or a topic of discussion was, if somebody doesn't want to be subject to our food to gaming revenue balance, set the license amount at $10,000. And you can have your parlor, but that's going to be what it costs per year. And so it really is a reflection of what the council wants it to be. Now I would be happy to go through. I don't think that we're skewed one way or another based on my representation, but I'm also happy to do a survey of comparable communities and get you a breakdown of it.
Okay, great, yeah, because looking at the liquor license fees, we have some that are pretty high relative to what we charge for, the operator's license and the terminal fees and things like that. So yeah, I would be interested to see that could be a little more revenue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Alderman Williams.
Yeah, Murder. I'm sorry, corporate counsel. Compared to cities our size, you got code enforcement officers. I think you got 6 listed. Said you got a 1 vacancy. Is that enough for a city this size?
So we have 4 attorneys, 2 paralegals, and a receptionist in code enforcement, and we have spots for those, and one of those attorney spots has been notoriously vacant. When it was filled, Katia McMasters runs our code enforcement department. She was here last night, and I've talked with her about that, and if she thinks she has enough. She says when we have 4 attorneys and 2 paralegals in that office, it's enough to do, in her opinion, and I value her opinion very much, it's enough to do our administrative court and get the small claims prosecuted over in circuit court, those small judgments amounts. So I do think that the council has provided us with enough personnel and enough budgeted funds to accomplish what we need to accomplish. The outstanding issue is getting the bodies in to fill those positions. And the first thing that goes when they're at 3 attorneys, which they're at right now, is the small claims cases over in circuit court. So we're still doing our administrative court and getting that process going, but we're losing out, or instead of maybe a weekly circuit court appearance in small claims, we're at a monthly. And so we're just not getting those judgments processed fast enough. So I think the council's done its job. We are looking. I do think that our starting salary is low for the state. It's comparable to what a new attorney in civil practice would make here. I think the problem is when capped at a 5% growth, which we're capped by ordinance, you can't get a raise more than 5%. Those starting attorneys in private practice are going to increase much quicker. So in salary. So while they start the same, they'll increase quicker. So we're looking to find attorneys that really value an 8 to 4:30 workday. We're trying to convince young people, because that's an entry-level position, trying to convince 24, 25-year-olds the value of a pension when they just spent 6 figures on law school, and you're trying to get them to invest and say, hey, you're gonna start here, and it's gonna be a slow grind, but you're gonna have a pension. And a lot of them have the ideas in their head of, hey, 10 years and I'm gonna be a partner, and I'm gonna be rolling in cash. You really need to find a unique attorneys who embrace that and who really want to go work there. It's great experience, it's a good work environment, and there are a lot of good benefits, but I think that's the struggle, is just filling our open positions. And we've been looking for an HR manager or a labor relations attorney for a long time, and we cannot find anybody to do it at the salary levels that we're at.
So I just asked because I didn't know if it was based on the population of the city or what, because they always compare it to, like Peoria, for example. They have code of, you can't violate the code, even the average citizen to talk about that. But then it's a criticism when it comes to Springfield that, well, you guys got it on the books, but you never enforce it. So I didn't know if it was a process problem with the courts or with your office. Or I talked to the inspectors, and inspectors often refer me to code enforcement, and I just saw that vacancy and thought I'd ask you, so.
Yep, I think the council has done its job to create the positions and to fund the positions. We need to fill them.
Thank you. Is that it, Alderman Williams?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Corporation Counsel, Murdoch, one of the things you've articulated very well this evening, some of the challenges of the offices. We've heard some of these things before for your department in particular. I would encourage you that if you are having issues or have an issue with that 5% cap, the code also says that you can come to council and with council approval, it can be more. Obviously not encouraging on throwing money around when we don't have it, but I mean, if it becomes an issue and it seems to be something prudent, at least I'm receptive to at least listening and hearing what you have to say. So,
Thank you, Alderman.
Alderman Gregory.
Real quick, thank you, Corporation Counsel Murdoch. Honestly, this is one of my buddies here, but I ask him a lot of tough questions, and all of the mayor's staff. I ask a lot of tough questions. I ask a lot of questions. I'm sure I get on people's nerves, but one thing I will say is they give me the information back, and I respect that. No matter what it is, they get the information back quickly, and I respect it, and I thank you for that. So one of the things in this report that I just not really concerned, but I want to wrap our minds around. I see total finished demo cases was 44, and then we got another 127 demo cases pending. Of course, quite a significant amount. I'm happy to see that we've had some demo by the owner, but the real wins is the ones that has been repaired. Ones has been repaired. So I did some quick math. Leaving out the ones that's pending in court, there's 134 of these homes. If we just quick math, if we threw $100,000 at each house, that's $6.7 million. Of course, all of them are not. So I guess what I'm saying is I want to try to cut this 127 or this high number in half, and not have so many demos. I think we gotta. I know we're after them. I know we gotta handle business. I send them a lot. I know we gotta handle business with those. But I also think that on the other side, we have to find a way to, if we own these homes, get them in some responsible rehab owners' hands or a program. I want to work with the mayor's office to really create something where we can get these homes, get them to. We have currently working with 4 of our chodos or people who specialize in this to really bring them together, so we can divvy out all of these houses to them. We got CBDG money, ARPA, all types of funds that really would help with this type of thing, so we can really cut this in half and not have so many blighted vacant land spots. We already have a lot, and I think we can save some of these if possible. If not, we tear them down and we move on. But I want to work with you, Public Works, and the mayor's office, of course, to really look at these homes, see if we can get some out of there, and say, hey, if we can get them fixed, they'll come off. And we have some people who specialize in this in our community who do have a small workforce that can get individual homes like these done. And I think we can probably cut this in half. Surely. So I just wanted to mention that to you. Keep up the good work. If you need anything from me, hit me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Redpath.
I think you answered my question all the time. It's hard enough to get professionals, and when you get somebody that you want to keep.
That's what I'm doing. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor. Moving along, the Office of the Mayor, Mrs. Wilson.
All right, I'm going to compete with Chief Disco here for the shortest presentation. I'm not asking for anything. Take it easy on me. I will first say that I reduced one of my budget lines, the professional and artistic budget line, by $80,000 by designing all of my own marketing and promotional materials in-house and through other various programs. We have an increased number of organic newsletter subscriptions. So organic meaning these are people who have signed up for the newsletter on their own throughout the community by marketing our newsletter through social media, and increasing our social media reach. So our posts are reaching more of Springfield, and increasing our followers by 326%. And also creating an Instagram page for the city of Springfield. So if you do not follow it, I encourage everybody to follow our Instagram page. That's all I got. Was that less than yours?
Any questions? Good. Mr. Posey, you're up.
No, well, hopefully I won't take much longer than anyone else, but just a list of a few of the things that we've done in the Office of Community Relations this year. First off was our part in the emergency response in the derecho. We coordinated efforts with community partners such as the Red Cross, the YMCA, and Hy-Vee to distribute food both during the aftermath of the storm and then in the weeks following. I know Alderman Williams came up and I was able to actually give him things personally, so that made us very happy and we felt like we were a good part of the community there. We created, along with the Department of Communications, the Excellence in Action Initiative, which is an award that goes out in our newsletter once a month to a city employee that has shown an exemplary work ethic and gone above and beyond, but treated it as if it was just a part of their everyday job. And so there are times where we'll get a call to the Office of the Mayor or to the Office of Community Relations where a community member wants to let us know how amazing someone who works for the city of Springfield is and how much that positively impacted their life. And we feel like we should be acknowledging those people who are going above and beyond for our citizens. We help to increase the minority recruitment efforts with the fire department, with the police department. I sat down with, at the time, the interim director of HR, Debbie Cimarosa Thompson, and Chief Canny with Chief Scarlett and the command staff and said, okay, what are issues that we've run into in recruiting in the past, and how can we, from the community side, support more, getting in more recruits that look like me? Finding out, okay, there are people that are in minority communities that didn't pass the background check. Where can we send their information to so that can be looked over and say, okay, moving forward, how can you be a better applicant? How can you be a better candidate? So that way people don't feel like they're just getting one chance to do what they love to do and it's gone. We really want to give people hope and a system to improve the numbers that we've seen over the past few years in minority recruitment for all of our crucial workforces. And also, we've started doing a lot of work to improve the minority-owned businesses and female-owned businesses' ability to become subcontractors on public works contracts, not just with the city of Springfield, but as a whole. Purchasing agent Lesko and I have sat down with different members of community organizations and businesses to say, okay, what do you look for when you're looking for a minority subcontractor or a female-owned business subcontractor? What kind of qualifications do they have to have? Where do they need to be registered? How is that information getting out? And then also sitting and meeting with community partners who are trying to prepare young minority entrepreneurs and first-time business owners and say, these are how these organizations and companies look for subcontractors. So if you're not seeing these opportunities, it might be because you don't know where to put your information for you to be seen. And the hope with that is to begin to build organic relationships between minority and female-owned businesses and our larger organizations that are here in the city of Springfield. So that way, when a new contract comes up or when a new job comes up, those larger organizations say, oh, I know exactly who does good work with this. Let me make sure that they know that we're putting this bid out here. We've done a lot of things over the years with good faith effort and putting those stipulations in a contract that majority contractors must have that information out there. We're simply working harder to make sure that's more modernized, that the way that people in the community receive and understand information is updated in this process. So there was a time where print media was very big, and that is how people got their information. In 2024, digital media and that information and being able to put things in videos and explain it to people visually and audibly is a much more widely accepted and effective practice. So we're just trying to help modernize the things that have been in the city code for us to do since 1988 and make sure that in 2024, we're doing them at the most optimal way possible. Any questions?
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Director Posey, do you have a rough number of how many female-owned businesses have reached out since you created this opportunity for them?
A rough estimate would be 3, but currently we have some meetings scheduled that will be sitting down with the Black Chamber of Commerce and with the Springfield Urban League, because they have a list of minority-owned businesses which are different from our list of minority-owned businesses. So the hope is by us sitting down and explaining the process of how minority-owned business and female-owned businesses can register with the city, that as they're teaching these people who are coming into their programs that are funded, now the city is something they talk about and say, hey, make sure you're registered here, or make sure you're registered with the state because these things are going on. We have some wonderful female-owned businesses in areas of the workforce where I don't think the public realizes we have them. I don't think they realize that we have female plumbers and pipe fitters, or that have their own construction companies, or they do sewer lines. But we have some really phenomenal women here in the city of Springfield that do hard, tough jobs, and they own their businesses. And so the plan is, A, to encourage more young women to own their businesses and to go into fields that traditionally they haven't been invited into or accepted into, and also to make sure that we're promoting and highlighting the amount of hardworking women who own businesses that we already have. So in the future, as this partnership and this work progresses, we'll be sure to get those numbers out very consistently. Something that's written into my budget is to make sure that we can go ahead and get a camera, a tripod, and microphones. And the purpose of that is to make sure we can do videos on a constant basis. So whenever our office gets a question from community members, well, I don't know if we have this, or I don't know if we have that, or we don't have enough people that represent us here. We go and we do the research and the information, and we find out we do have an initiative for this. We do have someone in the city who handles this issue. Let's do an 8 to 10 minute video with that person from our office that explains to the community exactly where they can go for the information they're looking for, who's the person in what position that can help them. And that's going to be up on the community relations website, so that way it's easily accessible. We can point people to it. And then if there's a question you get from a constituent as a city council member that you don't have an answer to, I encourage you to call us, because even if we don't have the resources or we can't give them the answer, we will find who they need to go to get the proper answer. And once we find that person, we'll make a video for them as well. So it'll be up on the website. We'll be constantly updating, so that way, as Corporation Council talked about these data and information silos, we don't want the community to feel like they don't know where the information is. We want there to be one place for you to come and feel like you can get your question answered, or if you ask, it'll be answered for anybody else to come and find. So that's what we're really trying to do moving forward, is find ways to not ask for a whole lot of extra money, but be able to do a whole lot of extra good for the community in a more efficient way.
Thank you, and let me know where I can help you, because I like sharing that information with all the community events that I go to, so I would like to definitely help you in that area. And then the last thing was, I just wanted to commend you, because when I have issues with tenant landlord, people who call me, I send them to you, I send an email to you, and you are very quick about getting your office to call them right away within the same day before we get to city council, and you're like, Keisha, I just talked to them. So I just think that that's really, really good on us being efficient and quick, and I just wanted to commend you for doing that. And a lot of people didn't know what this office did before, and you have just hit the ground running. I think you're keeping up with me now.
Well, I don't think I can even take credit for that. That credit has to go to my office coordinator, Sean Rydell, and my receptionist, Chantel Coleman. One thing I did inherit with this office is 2 extremely hardworking, dedicated, wonderful people that make a great environment. They're great in customer service, and they're great people in general. And so I can't take any credit for the things I do in my office. I just show up and get to work with some really, really great people.
Alderwoman
Thank you
Conley.
for what you do.
Thank you. Director, sorry, I'm over here. Just real quick, because it's not a huge increase in your budget, but could you just please explain the My First Home initiative?
Oh, absolutely. So,
And maybe I should say in like 2 minutes or less. Give us a
yes. Okay. So the My First Home initiative is something that the mayor and I talked about, and the purpose of it will be to take a property that the city already owns, take money that's budgeted in, which in the past had been budgeted toward paying bills for the overflow shelter through the Salvation Army. So this isn't new money or more money than was spent before. This is reallocating money that had already been allocated to our department. We're going to take one of the houses that is already owned by the city in an impoverished area, take money to reinvest in that house and renovate it and fix it up. And then after we sit down with a council of representatives from OPED and from Public Works and Public Utilities on what are the most effective ways and cost-effective ways to do that, we'll select someone to purchase the house. Now, they'll purchase the house for a slightly lower amount than it takes for us to actually renovate it and fix it up, but we make up for that loss in the goodwill to the community, in the sustainability of now teaching someone how to own a home who would be a first-time homeowner. So I know at a lot of the city council meetings, we talk about all of these properties that the city owns, and we don't know what to do with them, and we don't want to demo them all, and we have places in the city where people are looking for housing and can't find them. This would be a sustainable initiative that we could do every year, if successful, to make at least one new homeowner who's a first-time homeowner in the city of Springfield who might not have had that opportunity. And that homeowner, and helping to teach them the importance of insurance, the different kinds of insurance there are, teaching them how to properly budget and fiscal responsibility. Those are lessons that get passed down from generation to generation that allow more people to be homeowners. It allows more people to want to stay in Springfield once they grow up and become successful, because they know, well, my family's first house was here, and the city of Springfield made sure we had a home for me to grow up in, and now I want to go work for the city. I want to live in the city. So it gives back over time, it's sustainable, and it doesn't cost any more money than we were already allocating.
Thank you. I mean, it is not a huge amount, but again, it certainly speaks to that issue that Alderman Gregory quite rightfully brings up. We have homes that we own, and yes, some of them do need to be demolished. We know that. But this sort of reinvestment in our community and in housing stock, it starts small, but that's a great investment. So thank you very much for that.
Alderman Gregory.
Real quick, sorry about that. Ethan, good job. I want to know more about the improvements, but I heard you, and you know, I just think you need time to work on that and get that going. I'm going to ask you in the future, but we'll be all right. But you know, I like that. I seen that in the budget. I've always thought that this office should have some type of funds for really some of the utility assistance and things and the calls that you got. But I think that's taking it a step further, and I support that definitely. And you know, and these questions don't have to be answered now, but it's something that I want us to keep on the back of our mind. But as we move forward, we spoke on the overflow shelter and things of that nature, and I know you have to deal with our people experiencing homeless and continuum of care a lot. And I want to, you know, visit on how many times, I know we've given out some grants and things to some mental health professionals. And you know, for instance, Mr. Dave on Martin Luther King, we you know, our police have had to go over there several times. You have, whatever. I still got a tire in my truck from going over there and picking it up. So, you know, I want to know as well, not only is our police going over there and trying to help, but is you know, the professionals going to see him. And, you know, somebody like that is my belief that somebody should be going to talk to him every day until we can try to get him to a better point, you know, and people like that throughout our whole city. And I think that's important for us to know how many times those contacts are going. And lastly, and I'm gonna shut up, is our overflow shelter. I know Helping Hands has moved. I know they've taken a portion of that overflow shelter on. We've tore off the newest portion of it with the new railroad relocation, and that building there, for it to be anything significant, we're talking about at least $5 million or so. So I want to get with you and Public Works and our mayor and see what the next steps is for that building as well. So I just wanted to say those few things, and I'm done. Thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you. Of note in the presentation, the Office of the Mayor represents 2% of the corporate fund, and the Office of the Mayor's budget sees a decrease in expenses of 1.87% due to headcount decreases. Are there any further questions, budget related to the mayor's staff or the mayor regarding the Office of the Mayor's budget this evening? Okay, seeing none, let's give Tony about 3 minutes to move on. We're gonna, the next, we have 3 more presentations. The next one is the city clerk. Then we're going to have the city treasurer after that, and then the the council coordinator's office. So 3 minutes. Thank you.
No, I'm just saying, when you get ready to talk about